Japanese Kei cars. They're cute, they're small, they're cultural icons, and they are undeniably terrible. Hi, my name's Holden, and I've been daily driving a Kei car for the past 8 months or so, and I'm going to tell you why you probably should not do that. So before we dive into this, let me throw out some disclaimers. First of all, some of the stuff I talk about is obviously going to apply to some cars more than others. Just like any other type of car, Kei cars are a very diverse category. And so do your own research before you make a purchasing decision. Second of all, this isn't really going to apply that much if you're looking for a car that's going to be a kind of recreational toy that you take out every now and then. This is for people who want to use these cars every day. So let's start right off by talking about the most annoying part of driving a Kei car, which is all the attention. I drive a Pajero Mini, a Mitsubishi Pajero Mini, which I think is the least conspicuous Kei car probably out there. It looks more like a Geo Tracker, a Suzuki Samurai, something that you would be used to seeing on American roads already. I didn't expect it to attract that much attention. That was not the case. Now, I have a relatively short commute. It's about 7 miles each way, and sometimes in a normal day of commuting, I will be flagged down, waved at, spoken to at red lights, probably 5 or 6 times in a day, asking why I'm on the wrong side, what my car is, what country it's from, how did I get it here. And most of the time it's fun. To be honest with you, I'm a people person. I like talking to people. I like talking to strangers. The problem is, as you might have picked up if you've watched my videos, I'm very awkward. And when you put me into a situation with a person who is sometimes also awkward in an inherently awkward situation, like a red light conversation, this is usually about how it goes. Hey, why are you on the wrong side? Oh yeah, it's Japanese. That's cool, I guess. Okay. What? What? Oh, I didn't say anything. Oh, sorry, I thought you said something. What? Oh, sorry. Hey, I've got a question. Wait. Oh, what? Hey! Sorry, green. What a jerk. So the big thing everybody wants to stop and talk about is probably one of the reasons that you're curious if you're considering buying your first JDM car or first Kei car, which is right-hand drive. So let's talk about the frustrations of daily driving right-hand drive. Now let me get one thing out of the way. Drive-throughs are fine. Every single YouTuber who gets a right-hand drive car immediately has to go do a YouTube video where they prank the people in the drive-thru by going in reverse to the drive-thru, and they act like it's the only way to get your food. Especially if you're driving a Kei car. That car is, I can reach my arm out and I can open the passenger door with my left arm. I forgot my left and right for a second because I'm so frustrated by this. It doesn't matter. You have arms, I hope. It's a little ableist, I'm sorry. But just stop it. In fact, everything I said earlier about people asking all kinds of questions and wondering why I'm driving on the wrong side of the car and stopping me at red lights, drive-through workers, for some reason, are entirely immune to that effect. I would say maybe 10% of the time that I go through a Taco Bell or a Chick-fil-A or a McDonald's, does anybody even acknowledge the fact that I'm sitting on the wrong side. And when they do, it's a, oh, that's neat, and that we move on with our day. Sorry, I had to cut that rant short because I got so animated that my audio got out of sync. The only other thing I'm going to say about that, Doug DeMuro, this is all your fault. You started this trend. Anyways, right-hand drive. Most of the time, not a big deal. I hear some people complain about having trouble figuring out where you are in your lane. In a Kei car, the car is so narrow that you're not going to really run into that. There are only really two situations where I find it really annoying. Situation one is when I need to pass somebody. Now, obviously, in a car with like 60-ish horsepower, that doesn't actually come up that often. But especially on streets like the one I live on, there are times when delivery vans, U-Haul vans, Amazon vans are going to be parked in your lane, and you're kind of expected to just find your own way around them. When you're sitting on the right side of the car, it makes it a lot harder to look for oncoming traffic. Situation two is going to be when you're pulling out and you're turning right at an intersection and you're angled just slightly away from what would be parallel to either traffic direction. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean right now. I'm waiting to turn right, and if I look to see for oncoming traffic, there's wife, there's Corgi, and there's a big pillar right in the way. And I think this is the case in a lot of right-hand drive vehicles, unfortunately. And on the topic of poor visibility, let's talk about the next big elephant in the room, safety. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think anybody's buying one of these Kei cars for their 5-star safety rating, but it's definitely something to take into consideration, especially since you're going to be in a vehicle that puts you in a slightly worse position anyways. Keep in mind, you're driving on the wrong side, so we already talked about the inherent risk there. You're in a vehicle that can't accelerate quickly, which makes it a little difficult to get yourself out of dangerous situations in traffic. You're just adding a little bit of risk to your commute, so it's worth thinking about. Now, I'm not suggesting that Kei cars are unsafe simply because they're small. I've always hated the misconception that small cars are inherently unsafe. Right here next to me I have a 2017 Mini Cooper, for example. If you take a look at the driver's side door on this Mini Cooper and compare it to the driver's side door on my Pajero, you really start to get a good picture of why I feel so much safer in this small car than in this one. So, if you've heard all these other points and you're thinking, okay, none of these are that big a deal, none of these are that bad for me, I like you. You think a lot like I do. But let me bring up one more thing that I think is the most important thing to prepare you for owning a Kei car, which is the cost to run. So when we talk about cost, most people immediately think of monetary cost. But when we're talking about a car that was sold in a foreign market, there's another cost we need to think about, and that's time. Because we're talking about a lot of potential lost work, missed classes at school. We're not talking about being stranded once, we're talking about having a lot of downtime on a vehicle that we potentially really rely on. To show you what I mean, let me walk you through my personal experiences repairing a Kei car thus far. This is a Pajero Mini transmission computer. And this is a Pajero Mini transmission computer. Now, why would I have two of these in my hands in my office instead of in the car? Let me explain. So these transmission computers are a pretty common fault on these cars. When it gets cold, they stop working and they have to be replaced. So generally what happens is you just scour the internet, and whenever you find one, you buy it. That's what I did. The first one came from a sketchy Chinese website. I ordered it, I sent $150, and a month later, I accepted the fact that it was never coming. I got a hold of the website, tried to track down the seller, tried to get any money back, nothing. So I went to eBay. I found one on eBay after about a week of searching. I ordered that one from a Russian gentleman who was very nice, very friendly, great communication until I got it about 3 weeks later and discovered that that one also did not work. That one was about $250. So, moving on to the third transmission computer, the one that's in the car now, I got onto a website called Be Forward Japan, which I absolutely recommend that you check out. I'll even put a link to it in the description. That one cost me $350. These are all used parts, by the way, pulled from a different vehicle. And it finally worked after another month of waiting for it to come in. So not only did I sink a ton of money into parts that either never came or came non-functioning with no real way to get my money back, but that was 2 months and almost 3 months of waiting to have a functional vehicle again. The other issue I've had with this car was that my slave cylinder failed. Whatever, no big deal. Any car in the US, you can have that taken care of in, a matter of days most of the time. However, I could not find a replacement slave cylinder for a 1995 Mitsubishi Pajero Mini anywhere on the internet. What I ended up buying was the entire master cylinder assembly with a slave cylinder attached, pulled from a wrecked car. Once again, it came from beforward.jp. I highly recommend them, but it was just a lot more money than it should have been because I had to buy more parts that I didn't need. Now, I've been extremely fortunate because both of these issues were issues that did not leave the car disabled. I was able to drive the car, though with a lot of frustration, through both of these issues. So it didn't prevent me from getting to work, but that's why I drive home this time cost so much. There's potential in the future for this car to strand me in a way that I don't have transportation for the next month, 2 months, 3 months because I can't find a part. And that's why I really discourage you from putting yourself in a situation like mine where I am very dependent on my car working every single day. If this doesn't deter you enough, let me tell you about another member of my Pajero Facebook group who is selling his car due to a cracked windshield. He recently cracked his windshield, started working with his insurance company, started working with a glass place. Obviously, there's not going to be a Pajero Junior in his case windshield available in the United States. He found one in Japan for $500 plus $1,500 shipping. So $2,000 to replace the windshield on a car that he probably paid $8,000 for. So let's recap a little bit. If you buy a Kei Car, you are going to be stuck with a vehicle that gets you an incredible amount of attention, an extremely annoying driving experience, extremely high repair costs, extremely long repair wait times, and they're just a terrible value. What are you getting for your money? Why are you buying this? For a cheap Kei Car, if you're buying nothing really special, you're going to pay a minimum of $5,000, and $3,000 of that is just going to be getting it from Japan to here and in your hands. So there is definitely a price floor on JDM cars. In a lot of cases, I see people paying, $15,000, $17,000, $20,000 for more unique, AutoZams, really nice cappuccinos and beats. They're such a bad value for money. Think about USDM cars that you could get for that price. And I get it when you're spending the money on something kind of a little more special, but these are cars that generally were designed to be bare bones, basic transportation for people. These cars were not meant to still exist. When Honda designed the Acti, they never thought that 25 years later some American would be spending a stupid amount of money to get a nice one and drive it around on American streets. That's crazy. So at the end of the day, I really have to conclude that if you are watching this vehicle because you're thinking about buying a Kei Car, doing this to yourself, do it. It is the most fun I've ever had in a car. I could not recommend it enough. I never thought that a car with 60 horsepower could make me smile this much. I just do it. I don't know what else to tell you. After all these reasons that I've given you not to buy one, I still would go back and do it again a million times. Absolutely. You need a Kei Car. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that somewhere in there you found some kind of helpful advice. If you feel like I've earned a like, please like. If you want to keep seeing content like this, I would really appreciate a subscribe. And if you didn't like this video, please keep it to yourself because I have very fragile self-esteem. Thanks. See you next time.